I've walked several Caminos now, and I still find planning the next one a little bit overwhelming. There's so much information. There are blogs, websites, apps, and of course, there are guidebooks, but not all of them are actually helpful when you're out there walking. So I decided to order one more. And just to say up front, I absolutely love it. And I'm going to explain why later and how it compares to other guidebooks that I've used for my Caminos. Oh, and do make sure that you stick around until later because I've got a little bonus book that I want to share with you. And it's not a guidebook, but it is something that you might want to take with you on the Camino. And actually, it's only just been published, so you're going to be one of the very first to see it. But let's briefly dive into the guidebooks that I've actually used, what worked, what didn't, and which one might be right for you. So let's start with the classic John Brierley's Camino Frances guide. This guide is the most recognized, I would say, by pilgrims, and it includes daily page breakdowns, spiritual reflections, alternate routes, elevation profiles, maps, and town by town information. It is a really thoughtful book, and it invites you to walk with intention, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. But I will be honest, the layout can take a little bit of getting used to. And because the Camino Frances is a long route, this book isn't big, but if you're carrying all your gear, the weight does matter. So I mean, it's not super heavy, but you will notice it in your pack, especially after several weeks. However, if you're walking from Sarria to Santiago, there is a shorter version of this book, so you don't have to take the whole route with you. And that is going to be much lighter because it's only going to have that section of the walk in it, so it's going to be a much thinner book. By the way, I will leave links to all of the guidebooks that I mentioned in the description below, so you can take a closer look at whichever one interests you. So next is Brierley's map-only guide for the Camino Portuguese, and this one is much lighter. It's pared down to just the basics: maps, stage info, key landmarks, but there is no reflections. There are no reflections. There's no extras. I took it with me a few months ago, about 2 months ago now, when I walked the Camino Portuguese route. And my original plan was to switch from the coastal route to the central route, and I really thought that this book would help me do that. And it would have done. It does give you clear guidance on how to transfer across to the different routes. But at the end of the day, I ended up staying on the coastal route, and that is a story for another day. And I'll do another video, of course, on my Camino Portuguese. Yeah, wildfires, etc. But this book was still really handy. And if you do like the Brierley format, but want to cut weight, then the map book is a great compromise. I've also used the Brierley's Camino Inglés guide when I walked that route. It's a much shorter Camino, so naturally the guide is lighter and shorter, but it's still packed with really useful details. What I loved about it most was that it points out alternate routes that aren't necessarily signposted, and I definitely would have missed them if I didn't have this book. Do let me know in the comments which guidebook brand do you prefer, or do you skip guidebooks altogether and just use an app or a website, or do you just wing it? I'd be really interested to hear. Next up is the Moon Guide, and just like the Lonely Planet book that I'm going to discuss in a moment, it only covers the Camino Frances. This one is really a deep dive into the history, food, culture, wine, architecture, legends and myth behind the places that you walk through. And if you are the kind of pilgrim that loves context, you're gonna love this book. It's beautifully written and it's full of fascinating details. You'll definitely learn things that you wouldn't get from a more minimalist guide. But here is the trade-off. It's heavy. If you're carrying your own gear, I personally wouldn't take it with me unless you're using a luggage transfer service. And then I would take it with me if I was doing that. So that said, it's a great guide to read before you go or when you get back home, reflecting on your journey. It deepens your understanding of the Camino and the places that you've walked through. Now for the new kid on the block. Except it's not new to me at all, and this is the Lonely Planet Journey Camino Frances guide. And Lonely Planet books hold a really special place in my heart. In my early 20s, before I had children, I travelled in India and Morocco, and I had Lonely Planet guides with me. I would spend hours flipping through them in cafes, in hostels, on trains, buses, planning where to go next, where to stay, what to eat, and just holding one again brings all of that back. It just makes me feel that I'm already on an adventure even before I've left home. Sadly, one of my dogs has got this already and I've only just got it. That's annoying, but it's still okay. And I should be more careful. But anyway, this book is visually stunning. The layout, the photography, oh, look at that. The writing, it's the kind of book that is inspiring to flip through, not just for planning, but to enjoy. And just so you know, it was only published really recently, so not many people are talking about this guidebook yet, and it is a fresh perspective from a trusted travel brand. One thing to note, as I've said, this just covers the Camino Frances. It is lighter than the other Lonely Planet books, but still something to consider if you're carrying your own gear. That said, many people will find it worth the wait, and actually, when I compare it, although it's very slightly bigger than the Brierley book, they're about the same weight, I would say. So it is something to consider taking with you, even if you are carrying your gear, especially if you want something beautiful and practical in your backpack. So it includes stage summaries, cultural insights, reflections, Pilgrim interviews, detour suggestions, and special stays. And it's all written in a tone that feels personal and uplifting. And honestly, even if you've already walked the Camino like I have, or the Camino Frances like I have, this would make a wonderful gift for someone that's done it, or treat yourself just like I did. It's the kind of book that you will enjoy looking through at home long after your Camino is over. So it's not just a guide, but it's a way to relive the experience. Now, here is the bonus book that I mentioned earlier. And it is my very own Camino journal. I am genuinely excited to share this because it's only just been published. And one of the most valuable things about journaling on the Camino is that it helps you remember those little moments that you would otherwise forget. So the people you meet, where you walk from, where you walk to, what made you smile, or what challenged you that day. And without it, the whole experience can become a blur, especially after days of walking or even weeks of being on the trail. We compare it to the Brierley book. It's really thin, it's small, it's lightweight, and you can even just put it in your bum bag or your fanny pack, whatever you call it, and just get it out when you're in a cafe and fill in the little blanks here. It's really simple layout and just so easy to fill in. And it is designed for real life on the Camino because let's face it, after a long day of walking, showering, doing your laundry, getting food, journaling can feel like a lot. And this little book makes it really, really simple. So each day includes the fill in the blank prompts so you can quickly jot down your memories. And on the opposite page, there are room for extras, whether that's sketches, thoughts, stamps, or quotes. And I also added the packing list at the front, and at the back, there are some reflections for when you get home, space for reflections, and also a space to write a letter to your future self. This is really useful when you come home because it's so easy to forget those insights that you gained while you were on the Camino. So this kind of gets you to write them down and have a place to come back and look at exactly what you were thinking at the time or shortly afterwards. And yes, the design is inspired by cats that I met along the way. I did meet so many cats on the Camino. And again, I will leave a link below if you want to take a closer look. It's not very expensive, so if you just want to get it and try it out, that would be great. You'd be supporting me and the channel. So I know I'm not the only YouTuber with a Camino journal out there, and I love that we all bring something different to the table. And I actually do have one from another channel, quick look there, and you may know the book and you may know the channel. If you want a comparison video, because they are very different, just say the word comparison in the comments and I will make the video. Meanwhile, if you're planning a Camino, you might also enjoy this video here.